The pathfinding algorithms for League of Legends has historically been the source of great frustration for some of its players. In this video, I'll be explaining in detail how League of Legends chooses how you path, why this algorithm is flawed, and how that can lead you to walk right through a wall. Let's get started. First, let's define the goal of the pathfinding algorithm. The algorithm moves a character from one point to another while avoiding obstacles using the least distance possible. I'll go through some interesting interactions first, and understanding these is what eventually leads on to explaining how to move through walls. This first interaction isn't really related to walls, but it's pretty cool, so I figured I should share. Pathfinding can see through fog of war. If you try to walk through something you can't see, pathfinding will still pass you around it. Why am I pathing around this bush when the shortest way is right through it? Well, it's because the enemy team is inside it, waiting to jump me. Alright, this next section will be about how pathing is not always equivalent to movement. Understanding how exactly this works and how to beat this system is the key to moving through walls. Let's suppose we're Anivia and we want to move to the other side of our wall. So we click on where we intend to move. To our dismay, we head right to the wall and get stopped. The pathing algorithm has failed to consider the existence of this wall when calculating a path. When we get to the wall, we click again, and the algorithm recognizes that there's indeed a wall there. However, the wall expires, and we start taking a highly ineffective route until it realizes that something is wrong and corrects itself. These observations can be broken up into two concepts: terrain detection and pathing recalculation. Let's go through terrain detection first. If we attempt to move to the other side of a wall, we expect that the pathing algorithm will try to move around it. However, this is not the case for our previous clip. What caused this to happen? The answer turned out to be in player-made terrain. Pathing algorithm will not account for player-made terrain unless the player is directly next to it. This can be observed in examples such as Ornn's Q and Jarvan's ult. Let's talk about how pathing recalculation works now. Understanding how this worked was the final hurdle before I started moving through walls. You can see in this clip that I was beginning to move through the wall, but then I just got kicked out. There are two types of pathing recalculations: auto recalculation and click recalculation. Let's talk about auto recalculation first. Auto recalculation was what happened in our previous clip. Auto recalculation happens, well, as you would expect, automatically. When you click to move somewhere, it starts the auto recalculation timer. If you're not at your destination when the timer hits 0, it will look at your current position and recalculates the optimal path to your destination. If that is different to your current path, you'll start going to the new path instead. Auto recalculation checks if you're inside a wall. If you are, it will immediately kick you out and cancel all movement and pathing, which is what went wrong in my clip. How was I able to overcome this? One way is click recalculation. By clicking somewhere, the algorithm will immediately try and find a better path. Click recalculation does not check if you're inside a wall. Clicking somewhere will reset the auto recalculation timer, meaning if you repeatedly click, auto recalculation will keep resetting and never happen, so the system will never check that you're inside a wall. By using this, you can move through a wall without being kicked out. The second way to overcome auto recalculation is by moving quickly enough so that you're close enough to the other side of the wall by the time auto recalculation happens, so that way it will kick you out to the wrong side. You can see this happen in the Teemo clip, in which I bought multiple Spellbinders and Mobis in order to boost my movement speed. So now that we know how to move through the wall once we pass there, we approach our final question. Why are we actually getting passed through the wall? We are getting pathed through the wall because it is what the game detects as a valid move, that is the shortest distance from our location to the destination. I don't have access to League source code, so depending on how the terrain is actually coded, I can think of two theoretical possibilities on why the game considers it valid. The first possibility, also unlikely, is a grid-based system. The walls at the boundary of the terrain are coded as squares inside a grid that cannot be passed. However, looking at this diagram, it is possible to pass through a boundary by going through two diagonally placed squares without being blocked. It's highly unlikely it's actually coded this way, since the Summoner's Rift terrain would use a massive number of squares to get the lines looking smooth, using a vast amount of processing resources and potentially lagging the system. The more likely explanation will be a line-based system as shown in this diagram. The terrain is coded as a set of geometric shapes bounded by lines, and these lines cannot be passed by the player. If the player's line of movement intersects with any line of the terrain, it is an invalid move. However, you can see that if our movement line passes through exactly where the terrain line intersects, it does not actually cross into any of the terrain lines. Because of this, it is considered a valid move. So to sum it all up, you would first need a parsing algorithm to generate a pass through the walls that is thought to be valid. Then you have two options. The first one is to spam click so that the auto path recalculation never happens and you'll not kick out of the wall before reaching the other side. The second one is to have enough move speed so that by the time auto recalculation happens, you are already on the other side of the wall, or close enough so that it kicks you out to the other side. I had fun making this video and hopefully you learned something from it. If you would like to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and maybe drop a comment. It really helps the channel grow. I have a Discord server which talks about League of Legends, anime, just about anything really. So if you're interested, feel free to drop by. The invite link is in the description. Well, that's it from me. See you soon.